To many people who don't know anything about it, philosophy is a wishy-washy form of dream logic. The truth of the matter is that philosophy is, quite literally, everything. Philosophy is a way of examining life, existence, and everything related to it, often through systematic patterns of reason. It is split up into 8 main categories. Metaphysics deals with the largely abstract and transcendent. Discussions about your sense of identity and your place in the world happen here. Epistemology deals with knowledge, or what we think we know. Discussions about facts versus ideas happen here. Ethics deals with human morality. Discussions about right and wrong happen here. Political philosophy deals with citizens and their relationship with their government. Discussions about different types of government happen here. Aesthetics deals with our senses and whether or not something is pleasing or attractive. Discussions over the psychology and logic of beauty happen here. Logic deals with a systematic way of carrying a true premise to a true conclusion. Discussions about making a good point or what makes an opinion flawed happen here. Philosophy of the mind deals with the relationship your mind has with your body. Discussions about whether or not your mind is separate from your body happen here. Finally, philosophy of language deals with the nature of human language. Discussions about the meaning of language and how it relates to reality happen here. Needless to say, philosophy has a way of covering everything that you could possibly think about. Many of you would still assume science to be some sort of segregated alternative, but that's not really the case. To get a better picture of what I'm talking about, let's look a bit deeper into one of these main categories.
Do you have 2 hands? Yes. How do you know that? Because I can see them. How do you know that those are really your hands? Because I use them every day. How do you know you're not a brain in a jar, hooked up to a machine, living out your life in a dream world? I don't know that. So how do you know that you have 2 hands?
Through proper deduction, any statement of knowledge a person makes can effectively be shown to be no more than a belief. This is called the problem of infinite regress. While logically sound, this is a paradox that some argue must be ignored at some degree. Otherwise, you'd go completely insane. You wouldn't be able to be completely sure of anything. This is the essence of foundationalism. It's the view that, in order to begin to understand something as true, there must be a basic, foundational truth that is not questioned. But is this a coward's way out, or a practical standpoint? Let's ask the robots.
Is it absolutely true that there are no absolute truths? Yes. Ha ha, you lose.
The question of absolute truths is an easy paradox. If you say yes, then you've stated it to be absolutely true, that nothing is really true. Therefore, something must be true. If you say no, then again, there are absolute truths. However, once we realize that absolute truth exists, we have to figure out what qualifies as a foundational truth. Personally, I think the strongest foothold would be that I exist. Now that we have something to lean off of, we can attempt to know and understand the world around us. But how do we do that? Socrates put it this way: there is a division between truth and belief. This is because absolute truth is absolute, while absolute belief is entirely relative. Furthermore, something can be true that you do not believe, and vice versa. There is only one instance in which the two intersect, And that happens when one tries to justify their belief into something that can be logically trusted as truth. This area of justified, logically trusted belief, also called justified true belief, effectively translates to knowledge. So how do we justify a belief? There are a number of methods we use to try to accomplish this. Intuition relies on gut feelings vis-a-vis women's intuition. Revelation and faith are often tied together in their highly abstract nature. Religions are largely built around the concept of revelation. We summarized logic earlier, and as you can see, it's both a separate section of philosophy and a subsection of epistemology. This is a good example of how different areas of philosophy tend to intertwine. Finally, empiricism relies on hard facts and experiences. The field of science follows a fundamental methodology of empiricism. To retract for a moment, this is what I meant when I posited that not even science can escape philosophy. It's actually buried deep within it. These methods of justifying our beliefs are not always exclusive from each other. Depending on what you're trying to qualify as knowledge, these methods can involve or sometimes rely on each other. Keep in mind that even if you justify something enough to be trusted as true, it could still, in reality, be false. So, how can we know for sure? In the context of this video, I don't know the answer to that question, but the important thing is that absolute truth exists, and I would argue that it is our obligation to try our very best to obtain it.